Allyson Felix is the most decorated female track star in Olympic history. 11 medals, 7 of them gold. Nobody has done more. She retired 4 years back, then suddenly posted 10 slides on Instagram, a comeback announcement and a public pitch deck. She called it Project 6. Her next move changes everything you thought was possible. Before you see what she is attempting, you have to understand who she really is. Allyson Felix was born November 18, 1985, in Los Angeles, the same city hosting the 2028 Olympics. She grew up there, went to high school there. That is where she fell in love with running. Over the next 2 decades, she took on the world and became the greatest female track athlete ever. She won 11 Olympic medals across 5 games, 7 gold, 3 silver, plus 20 world championship medals, 14 of them gold. In 2019, she won her 13th world championship gold in Doha, breaking Usain Bolt's record for the most championship golds ever. The greatest sprinter ever held that record until Felix broke it as a mother, as a 33-year-old who survived a pregnancy that almost killed her. +1. Her specialty? The 400 meters. It is the most brutal sprint in track. It demands speed and the grit to survive that agonizing acid burn. Felix competed in that race at the highest level for nearly 20 years. She also dominated relays and the 200 meters, leading American teams through the most dramatic Olympic moments. She trained with the legendary Bobby Kersee and was the face of Nike for nearly 2 full decades. She was the standard for American track and field. Then, out of nowhere, she decided she was done. She walked off the track in Eugene in 2022 with a final gold medal. At 36, nobody questioned her retirement. She had done it all. Nothing left to prove. Or at least, that is what everyone assumed. But the most defining part of Allyson Felix's story actually happened far away from the track. In 2018, at the absolute peak of her career, Felix became pregnant with her daughter, Cameron. Her Nike contract had expired, and they were negotiating a new deal. When Nike found out she was pregnant, they offered 70% less pay. As one of Nike's most famous athletes, she was offered a contract that punished her for being a mother. She and her brother Wes decided to hide her pregnancy. She trained in total secret, waking up at 4 a.m. to run in the shadows so nobody would see her. She wore baggy clothes, showing up to meets and smiling for the cameras while hiding a truth she feared telling. Other athletes had lost sponsors after announcing pregnancies. Felix stayed silent and just hoped for the best. Then Cameron arrived early, extremely early. Felix developed preeclampsia, a life-threatening condition common in Black women. She was rushed into an emergency C-section at 32 weeks and spent a month in the hospital recovering with her newborn daughter. She described that moment as an impossible situation, but instead of staying silent, she chose to write. In 2019, she published an op-ed in the New York Times exposing Nike. The backlash against the brand was immediate and loud. Congress launched an inquiry. 3 months later, Nike announced they would guarantee pay and bonuses for 18 months surrounding pregnancy. Policies changed sport-wide. Felix left Nike for Athleta, a brand offering full maternity protections. She even launched her own footwear company, Seish. She founded Always Alpha, an agency built to represent female athletes and provide the protections she never had. She did not just survive the fight. She reshaped the entire landscape. Then in Eugene, she crossed the finish line of her final world championship race. Or so everyone thought. Allyson Felix retired in 2022. She had a daughter, a business, and advocacy work that truly mattered. She had a full life. But in the summer of 2024, she sat in the stands in Paris and felt something unexpected. She told Time the experience was complicated. She felt joy watching others compete, but then came moments where she quietly admitted to herself that she missed it. Not the pressure or the politics, just the feeling, that pure physical sensation of racing at the very highest level. Before Paris, she had already made an impact. She worked with Pampers to create the first nursery in Olympic Village history, a dedicated space where competing mothers could be with their babies between events. That project was proof that the fight she started in 2019 was still getting results. She built that, She was also helping plan the 2028 games in her hometown on the organizing committee. She was at the table, building something big. And somewhere in that planning, a different idea started to take shape. Last June in France, Allyson Felix asked her brother Wes for 20 minutes. This was unusual, even for siblings and business partners. They talked constantly, but this felt different. It felt formal. Wes expected anything but what happened. Felix walked in with a laptop and a pitch deck ready to go. The presentation was simply titled Project 6. Her goal was to qualify for a sixth Olympic Games in Los Angeles 2028 when she will be 42 years old. Wes was floored. He later told Time magazine he felt there was 0% chance she would ever say those words. He expected anything but that. Felix officially went public with her comeback in April 2026. Through a 10-slide Instagram post, she revealed the dream she was finally ready to chase. "In a million years, I never thought I would return," she wrote. "And somehow, here I am reaching for LA 2028 on my own terms." She calls it a live experiment in human potential, a love story written for Los Angeles, the very city that raised her from a child. Felix was also honest about her reality. She told Time magazine that at age 40, she knows she is no longer at her peak. "I have zero illusions about that," she said. She is not pretending the clock stopped. Instead, she is asking a completely different question. What is actually possible when you refuse to accept the limits that the world tries to assign to your age? She looks to legends like Tom Brady, LeBron James, and Lindsey Vonn, who dominated elite sports well into their 40s. She wants to find out if a sprinter can do the same. The path to LA 28 is narrow. Felix must finish top 3 at trials or join the relay pool, hitting times few 42-year-olds have ever approached. Legendary coach Bobby Kersey is back in her corner. Full training begins in October 2026. Staying close to her kids, Cameron and Trey, is priority. She expects to be back in certified competition by 2027. This is not about the money. This is about the one specific thing still missing from her historic career. She has never competed in an Olympic Games in her hometown or felt the power of that home crowd roar. She told Time this is a once-in-a-lifetime homecoming. It is the only thing powerful enough to pull her back. Allyson Felix won her first Olympic medal at 18 in Athens and her last at 35 in Tokyo. Between those moments, she changed American track and field. She challenged Nike, testified before Congress, built 2 companies, and became a mother twice. She emerged as one of the most important athletes the world has ever seen. Now 40, she drops kids at school, runs Seish, and serves on an Olympic committee. Now, she is lacing up for a comeback most call impossible. She knows it is hard, but says too many are told never to do the big, bold thing. "At this age, I should probably be staying home and taking care of my kids. But honestly, why not? Let's flip it on its head. Let's go after it." That is Project 6. Not a stunt or a farewell lap, but a real attempt by the greatest female track athlete ever to prove the world has not seen everything she can do. The question is not if she deserves to be there, but if she can make it. Allyson Felix has spent her whole career answering questions exactly like that.